Okay, we are a little bit late. Thank you for the invitation to the conference. So we go now into the round table. First slide, please. Next one. Sorry, it's here. Here. Okay. The first speaker will be Agustí Romero. He's, as you see, is researcher of IRTA, the Catalonian agricultural industry research agency. And he is an expert very well known in olive oil quality assessment and sustainability. Later, in virtual, she is now with us, Maria Luisa Clodoveo. She is professor of food science in Bari and director of many masters around the olive oil and the new technologies of extracting components. She's a member of the Academia Nacional del Olivo, and she will be the second invited person. And the last one is Joao Nunes. He has two main activities. On one hand, he's in the Center for Research and Technological Development, and also he is the chairman of a cooperative laboratory where the startups and industries join with the universities and do this cooperative laboratory. He will explain later. No? So we have these three persons with these different profiles and expertise that will make different point of view into the topic of this roundtable. And this is me. I am professor in University of Córdoba, just to the west of Jaén. This is just in Jaén province. Selective is in Cazorla. You have time, you can also visit Cazorla. It's a wonderful place, okay? Well, this is just to complement the very nice conference introduction. So I removed some of the slides I have prepared because they were perfectly presented before. So you know already what is the bioeconomy. And this is a Sankey diagram that we make of all the biomass who is involved in the olive oil production. Because remember, we are really, all this biomass is because we have something that it has an economic value, that is the olive oil. And then this olive oil justifies all this biomass. For each kilo of olive oil, you have something like 8 kilos of something, byproducts. Some of the byproducts are just water. When you clean the water, it's just water that you maybe go to the sky, or maybe go to the rivers, or you go to the plants. But you have a lot of, you see here, you have this published somewhere. So if you put my name, you can get the original one. You have 23 million of byproducts once you take the olive oil outside. So it's 23 million tons. Now they are mainly used for energy, electricity. Now maybe you have seen some biomass power companies around Jaén. There are many. Composting, biofuel, just nothing, but still there are some of obviously food. Well, you have this pomace oil that is used for food. Animal feed, I think it's a big opportunity in animal feed, is an opinion, obviously. And it was very explained that it's a pity that all this biomass is going to energy when there is a lot of polyphenols and many high-value components that can be used for food, pharmaceutical, feeds, or whatever. There are many examples. I have no time because it's not my role here to explain how many things they are doing already. There are so many small firms doing already bioeconomy in Spain and Italy. Is the two countries I know. And if you are interested, I can give you an example of people who is living from this business of the bioeconomy, extracting value to the bioproducts. Well, this is where we are now, no? We are talking also, we talk quite a lot about circular bioeconomy. It's just to remember you that it's like the union between bioeconomy, that is all this thing about extracting higher value of the products, with the circular economy, that is getting that the value of a product is continuous in the time, no? So it's a mix of both things, no? And obviously, not everything can finish to be a pharmaceutical or high value or functional food. Something has to go to animal feed, and something need to go to energy, because when you extract this cascade utilization, get you in the cascade. Well, this is more or less, I did that because maybe some of you who come from far away are not so familiar with this bioeconomy, bioproducts, all these things that we can extract for the value chain, where for each kilo of olive oil we have, this is the production of the last year, 3.2 million kilos of olive oil, we have 8 kilos of byproducts, with a lot of added value around. No? So once I said this small introduction, we have, I asked our expertise 5 questions, and then the last one is for you. And the first one that we are going to answer, and I will sit down now, is the role of bioeconomy in the olive oil industry, a farm, industry, and consumer stage. As our previous conference explained, the value chain here is very important. No? So Agustí will be the first, the first person.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everybody. Thanks to the organization for having invited me. Since the wide concept of bioeconomy, we can say that the olive oil sector in Spain particularly, but all around the Mediterranean, has been concerned about the concept for many years. So, and nowadays maybe the more clear is that the consumers, the final consumers, are driving a little, at least, the process. So now they are very concerned about the environment, and we have good calculators, not perfect. We have to standardize them to work out the water footprint, the carbon footprint. So we have fantastic traceability systems to be implemented in the packaging of the oils. So in a short future, the consumer is going to use all these tools to boost the sector to follow what they believe that must be done. So even, for instance, concerning water footprint, for many years we developed at research level good methodologies to optimize and to reduce the water consumption in the orchards, optimizing a really scarce resource we have in the Mediterranean basin. Though in Spain, for instance, most of the groves, most of the orchards are still or cannot be irrigated because they don't have access to water, and this is a big limitation. We have then this optimization of water use moved to the milling sector, and we passed from trying to reduce the water consumption in the mills and to reduce the wastewater emission. We passed from the 2 phases system from the 3 phases to 2 phases. Even now we are involved in using waterless vertical centrifuges, though this is not clear if they are efficient or not. So all the sector was involved on this. Even we have some very, very good examples in Catalonia and even here in Andalusia and around Spain about producers that are recovering biodiversity, are recovering native varieties, and they are putting in the market with a high value, trying to link the idea of health of the oil with these particular varieties. So the composting of pomades was very, very well developed here by IFAPA and transferred to the sector. We invited the technicians from IFAPA to Catalonia many years ago to teach us and to teach our growers how to do that, and some of them are doing. And then we have a final layer that was developed during the last year, which is the oleotourism, that tries to give sustainability to all these ideas, and it's working, and all this. So just to not be...
Well then, Maria, I hope... I know, sorry. Maria? Okay, Maria.
Can you see me?
Hello.
Hi. Hello. Nice to meet you. Thank you for your invitation. Good.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Buenos días a todos. First, thank you for the invitation of the organization, especially Professor Sebastian. It's a pleasure present here to talk about the bioeconomy and olive oil sector. To answer this question, it's a very good question. When you see the bioeconomy strategic plan, European plan, we have two very good sentences. The first is use better that you are using now, and use well that you are not used now. So for that, we need the knowledge. So for me, taking account this question, the knowledge is the baseline of the bioeconomy. Bioeconomy represents to put the knowledge in the framework of the valorization of the biological resource. So when you talk, knowledge is a key word, but we need to develop this key word and to increase the value, to increase the valorization of the biological resource. When you separate in three parts of the value chain, the farm process, the industry, the consumers, in my opinion, we need to increase the knowledge at the farm process to promote the quality of the ecosystem, taking account the soil. The land use is very important for the future of the olive sector. The resilience of the plant, taking account the climate change. We need to study the genomic of the plants. We need to study how it's possible to have plants with more resilience for the climate change, especially for the water pressure, for the phytosanitary pressures of these ecosystems. In context of the industry, the conservation and the quality and properties of all streams of the generate of the olive, not only the olive oil, the lignocellulosic biomass is other important mass that it's important conservation, the properties, the molecules that you have in this mass flow. It's very important. The other is increase the efficiency of the conversion, not only the mass conversion of the fruit to olive oil, but also of the plant, the site of the industry. So in this baseline, think not only for the industry and all for the farming and farmers, I think it's very important pay attention for the training of human resource. So if you want to increase the knowledge and how it's possible, use better that you have already used or use well that you are not used, we need the people. The last presentation, Rosie talked about the people. The people is the most important rule. I think the connection between the universities and the industries, how it's possible put together the cooperation of these two parts, it's very important for the human training, human resource training. So demonstration and promotion the value of the olive oil. I think this meeting is a very good example. We need more these type of meetings. It's a very good example. And I think it's important the other type of alliance between the olive oil with the fruit sector, with vegetable sectors. So I think it's important to integrate the value chain and the symbiosis and alliance with other sectors to increase the value of the olive oil. In the final of this pyramid, we have the consumers. The consumers, I think, it's the most important part of this process because the consumers have the options to buy a very good product or not a very good product, or a product with the compliance of the sustainability rules and the criteria. So the consumers, it's very important, and I think the demonstration of the value of this sector and the quality of olive oil and other type of products or bio products from this sector, I think it's very important. In the final, I have 5 highlights. The first is the people, from the farm to consumers. I think it's very important. It's the first highlight. The second is the technologies. We need put more technologies, scale up technologies to value not only the oil, but value the other mass flows of this sector. The resilience of the farming. The farm process, it's very important to increase the resilience of this process. Decrease the environment impact. I think it's other part of this sector is the environmental part of the conversion process. And the final is the type of the business model. I think we need to change the type of business models. We need a new business model. For example, the biorefinery process. For example, the circular molecules, taking account the capacity to recover nutrients for the soil, the context of the water precision use in the whole value chain. So I think we need new business model for increase this sector is a very important proof.
Thank you. We are a little bit behind our schedule, so I will jump. The second one is about circular economy, but it's very close to the one. And I think most of it is more or less answered already. If you want, we can go back, but I want to finish in time, if possible. So we leave this for the final question. If you're interested, you have your time. And now, we know there is some technology around. There is some technology to get some high-value products from the olive oil biomass in general. Some companies are doing it. Just a few companies are getting money and making a business from obtaining higher value from the biomass and molecules, whatever. But it's really a minority. So the question is, what barriers we can see for technical, commercial, institutional barriers for a higher development of circular bioeconomy in this sector? The barriers we are detecting, no?
Yes. Okay, for sure, there must be some technical barriers coming from the engineering issue that I'm not expert on them, so I'm not going to go into them. But yes, there is one that affects, especially Catalonia. We are a small sector, only 4% of the Spanish sector, which is the opposite to here in Andalusia, that they can scale up solutions and reduce costs, whereas it's a handicap for us to do that because our sector is dispersed, scattered around the country, and so we cannot afford many solutions that are profitable here but not maybe there. So this is a first handicap we need solutions on the other side that makes feasible to close the circle in small producing areas. I believe that this is a common problem around the Mediterranean in many places. And then we have as well sometimes, or what the industry tells us sometimes, is that there is some institutional barrier when they define what is a residue and what is a byproduct, and who and how can they manage this. That sometimes delayed the availability of already good solutions that couldn't be applied because of the definition of this.
Thank you. Maria? Okay.
The first question is, I think, the readiness technology level. The industries needs to have from the research sector innovation with a high readiness technology level equal to 9, ready to the market. Then I think that the circular economy represents a concrete opportunity for the growth of and the development of the extra virgin supply chain, but the transition risks to be slowed down by the legislation and by the difficult to renew production processes due to the high investment that are required. And I think that it is necessary in Italy, I don't know, in Spain, of a national strategy of financial support to the company of the sector necessary for faster the transition. As part of the circular economy, it is necessary to recognize the right price for a product. In addition to the unique nutritional and health property, we have to recognize the ability of the product, extra virgin olive oil, to help to protect the environment, also saving natural resources with an innovative use of the bioproduct. The best practice to manage the transition of modern oil mills from the linear economy model focused only on the production of extra virgin olive oil to a circular economy model in which new processes transform the bioproduct in a new product with high added value must to be based on the awareness that the production of extra virgin olive oil, the bioproduct valorization, the health diet of citizens, and the environmental sustainability are not separated questions, but are elements of an One Health vision, so that health life of the people occur in a healthy planet. So strong coordination at national, at international level will be needed to establish the rules. So we need economic instrument, we need to remove non-technological barrier for the birth of a real circular revolution. If we want to accelerate the transition towards a circular economy model, we need a complex and multidimensional process that involves all the players in the sector, so public and private subjects, companies, financial operator, university, and administration, and finally the citizen. We have to establish a roadmap, so we need to revise the legislation, we need to have the economic support, and we need to organize a communication action to inform both stakeholders and citizens. I think that in this way we can remove the barrier to the transition to a circular economy.
Thank you. Thank you, Joao.
Okay. My first opinion is it's very important in the market the clarification between circular bioeconomy and waste management bioeconomy, because it's very different, and always the confusion between waste management and circular bioeconomy. For example, I'm not agree with the option to burn biomass or oil because you have more value in this mass. It's waste management. Circular bioeconomy is the biorefinery refination of the mass flow. It's a different process, different visions, but in always you have this confusion of the market. I think it's important the clarification the difference between waste management and circular bioeconomy.
Yes.
The other technical barrier is, or economic barrier, how it's possible to increase the value of the mass flow, the waste mass flow, lignocellulosic biomass. In this moment is more or less the final gross value. It's 0.15 euros per kilogram, the gross final mass, the valorization of the lignocellulosic biomass, the waste. I think it's very important to increase to 0.6 and 1 euro per kilogram. It's possible to increase this value of this mass flow. The other is not institutional, is a more value chain barrier, is the micro scale of the farmers of this sector. In Portugal is a very important field, is how it's possible to have the cooperation between the farmers, because it's very small, the dimension of the farming production. The other technical barrier and the commercial barrier is the capital cost of the new technologies, the biorefineries. The capital cost, it's very high. The capacity to value the biocompounds, it's very high, the capital costs, and the OPEX costs, it's very, very high. And in the final, I think it's we have a different barriers, is the classification and disclassification of the waste, the streams, the waste and the bioproducts. It's very important. And how it's possible to put in the market when you have a bottle of olive oil from normal system production. The people pay the quality, but how it's possible the people or the system pay the circularity of the value chain? How it's possible to design this type of the market? I think it's very important. In this moment, the people pay for the quality. It's real, but the people not pay the circularity of the product and the value chains. And for me, it's the challenge for this question.
Okay.
Thanks.
Well, thank you. We are going into the next question, that is opportunities, because you are talking about barriers, but you finish talking about opportunities. So, Agustí, is my last question, the next one will be from the public. Okay. What opportunities, you have a success example of circular economy that you can share with us? I don't know, I like this company or whatever, or the opportunities in general that you can see, no?
Yeah, okay. Tomorrow they are going to explain us some really paradigmatical good examples of this, like El Tejado,
the Cop, yes.
For instance, we have another...
Castillo de Canena, yes.
Yes, so they will go in more detail with them, but are perfect examples. We have another example, for instance, in Catalonia, which is a chemistry company, which is called Clarion, which business consists in taking byproducts and residues from the olive oil refineries, and then they extract squalene, and they supply to other companies from the food sector, from the cosmetic sector, which are now very, very concerned about the origin of squalene, because squalene comes from animals, and nowadays this is almost forbidden. So, and then we have new opportunities with the new technologies that give the consumer, as Joao says, the opportunity to pull the food chain, supplying the information about how was the production system concerning gender, concerning real responsibility, social responsibility, or waste production and all this stuff. Yes.
Maria, your turn, Maria.
Yes. Okay. I'd like to tell you an experience of my lab. We are currently concluding an European project, Olive Sound, supported by Horizon 2020 program. And this project is aimed to develop a full-scale plant for extraction of extra virgin olive oil based on the simultaneous action of ultrasound and heat exchanger in order to produce an higher quantity of oil rich in polyphenols. The goal of this project is to have a product ready to the market. In a parallel research activity, we explore the potential of this ultrasound prototype to treat olive pomace instead of olive paste inside the mill to improve biogas production. What we discovered that ultrasounds, that are sound waves which thanks to the phenomenon of cavitation and its mechanical action can break the polymers present in the olive pomace, can generate a more easily digestible substrate in the bioreactor, accelerating the process and increasing the efficiency of the production of biogas. This results is very interesting because you can use the same devices in two different periods of the oil mill activities. In fact, the results is that the use of ultrasounds can be useful during the harvesting season for 19 days, like in a linear economy model, but in a circular economy model, you can apply the same device over 200 days in the period in which the fruit processing is suspended. So we realize an example in which the olive mill with the same devices can increase the number of activity, including the production of renewable energy.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Joao.
yes. Your diagram, Sank diagram present
yes,
by you, it's
I'm very proud of it.
Yes, it's very clear for this question. For me, the opportunities is the type of the business model. We need new business model. That I said, I think it's important to change the vision. We need to look for the olive value chain and not only for the olive oil. I think it's the future for this sector. Of course, the olive oil is the main product of the value chain, but we need other complementary bioproducts, and for that we need other type of industries and business model. Industries for molecules and biocompounds, industries for industrial biotechnology, biorefineries, and of course for circular technologies. We need other type of technologies, business model to complement the olive oil sector and look for this value chain for all mass flows and energy flow of the whole value chain. I think it's the big challenge and opportunity of this sector is to look for all value chain and not only for the olive oil. I think in the future the name is olive and health and not only olive oil and health, because the lignocellulosic biomass have a different biocompounds, very interesting for the health sector too. And about the success case in context of the circular bioeconomy, I will talk a little two examples from Portugal, from BLC3 and CECOLAB. We are working in the development technologies for wastewater treatment. To value the wastewater, it's very important because we have a value in this mass flow. It's not only a problem, it's an opportunity to this valorization. And we are working in the genomic dimension of the Galega variety, because it's the most important variety in Portugal. In this moment, we have the most important representative of the study of the genomic of this variety. We have a 300 different clones of this variety we have present in our camps is that two case studies and sources case. We can use these case studies to replication in other regions. So it's a different two examples. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, these were the question I asked the expert, and now it's your time. Question from the public. Okay, if you don't have question, I will have someone. You want to go for lunch? Okay.
So my question is, how much emphasis and value should we place on keeping the byproducts of olive production close to home? How is this something we should think about, that the closer we can keep the use to where we produce the byproduct, is that worth it, or is the ultimate financial value a higher priority?
Okay, yes, Alexander, that's a good point. In the last reunion we held in Catalonia concerning the new development of gasification plants, in Catalonia the decision was to put as close as possible to the growers. Mm-hmm. Yes, because then you can get the biochar that you can put again in the fields and on all this. Yes, this was. But maybe other areas it's better to have another solution.
But I think in general the byproducts are close to the factory, to the almazara, to the milling factory. They don't travel too much.
Yes. I have the same opinion. It's very important the closer of the valorization of the byproduct.
It's a real situation now. They don't travel too much, really, in general, because they are.
There is a distance over that is not profitable to reuse olive pomans for biogas. So the biogas plant needs to be near the olive mill and the olive grove.
There is a lot of water there, so you cannot move water from one place to the other.
Yes, thank you. I think it will depend, as Agustí said, which is the methodology or which is the final product you want to have from that. Because we know that a lot of the residues, not pomace, but a lot of the residues are actually exported, for example, to Stockholm for biogas production that fits the whole city and also the buses, the transport system. So it will depend, and the emissions are not too high to transport them by ship to the city. My question to you is on the cases that you know in terms of technology, let's say, in terms of bioeconomy, which is the one that you see that is the most developed and the one that has the best potential, let's say? From the technological point of view, of course.
Agustín explained before how now the squalene is already obtained from the bioproducts and is very well developed in Catalonia. Here
it's already commercial.
It's a success story, but maybe there is other technologies and other byproducts and other components.
You have already in the market some examples, commercial examples to valorization the bioproducts and waste. I think what we need is increase the dimension of the scale of this market. It's very low in this moment. I think it's easier. I need to increase the dimension of the market to have in the 5 years it's possible with the biorefineries and the whole valorization of the waste, the pomace.
Well, there is a market really for polyphenols for animal feeding substitution, because they can be a substitution for antibiotics or whatever in the animal feed. But the technology, I don't know if the technology is there, but still there is not, maybe something is a question to my experts. No? Why we are not seeing this in the market already? Polyphenols obtained from.
I think one problem is the capital cost of the technology. I think is the most challenge that we need is to decrease the capital cost of the technology. It's the same example of the solar technology. And last 10 years ago, the price of the kilowatt of the solar is very high, and this moment is very low. I think it's the challenge for the next 10 years is decrease the capital cost of this technology.
Regard to the polyphenols in wastewater, we have near Bari a company that produces high quantity at industrial level, and we are consultant for this company. The first problem is the standardization of the composition of the polyphenol concentrate. Because when another industry, such as animal feed industry, needs to take a new ingredient, one of the characteristics that is needed is the standardization of the composition. So relative to the wastewater, vegetable wastewater, we have a change during the harvesting season, depending on the variety and on the maturity index. So the main problem is that the concentrated polyphenols change during the time, and this is difficult for other industry to use this kind of natural extract respect to ingredient from the chemical synthesis.
A good answer, no? More questions?
Maybe it could be interesting to say to the audience that now there are ongoing at least 2 big European projects on oil sustainability. One is led by Universidad, which is sustainable, and then another one is led by IRTA, which is Novaterra, aiming with the reduction of pesticides, using biopesticides and other techniques because in the next 2030 we are going to have to reduce by 50% the pesticide application, which is a handicap terrible.
First, I want to thank you. You've touched on a lot of points, and I'm sitting here in my seat. I can't even sit still because I'm so excited about a lot of the points that you've brought up. The soil, you talked about traceability. There's so many different things here. My major concern moving forward, being more sustainable, having a circular economy, is the balance between large producers that can afford technology, that can actually implement many of these things like blockchain, or actually be able to, in time, extract the phenols, and leaving behind the smaller producers, the medium producers, that really are working hard, that are trying to be more sustainable, but are being blown away by prices. How do we make sure that they are part of the conversation, that they are part of the solution, and that we keep them involved, and actually, that they can actually make a living out of this?
It's a very good point. How can we get these small farmers as part of the solution, and not
because, for instance, these small producers and even bigger producers are included as cases in all these ongoing projects, European projects, that consider this important issue. That makes sense for the future for the whole sector, yes.
It's a very good question. Joao is working on that, yes.
Yeah, we are working this dimension. In fact, to work with small farmers, it's a big challenge, how it's possible. I think we need to design a different governance model, how it's possible to integrate in this value chain the small farmers, and the final of the profit, the recovery for the small farmers. I think it's the very important point is how it's possible to design the governance model that the final profit in the market One part of this is for small farmers. I think when it's possible to design and join people and entities in all value chain, I think it's possible. For this type of governance model, we need the other entity, a third part of this process, to integrate the small farmers and, in fact, the industry and the consumers. I think we need the third part for this governance model and design the business model. And in the final of the profit for the market, one part of this we need to use for the small farmers.
Maria, yes, you have something to say? Yes.
I agree with my colleagues, so I think that I can add a little. In Italy, some governance models are based on the consortium of small producers to overcome this problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you want to do the kata? No? Okay, I think more or less we treat the topic. I hope that you know we are here if you want to continue the conversation. Thank you for your attention, and thank you to the expert for the value.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joao.